So, hello and welcome to our live broadcast stream from the Virtual Race Academy. We're live at Spa for our GTE race tonight. We've got full enough grid. We've got maybe 20 drivers on the grid and still more joining. We're just into qualifying at the moment. We're very lucky to have young Jack Pack with us tonight, who did an exceptional job last week. And Brad O'Neens. Brad, are you there?
Good evening, everybody. Hi.
Hey, Brad, how are you? Not racing with us tonight then, Brad, no? I'm not sure if he's there or not. I think we lost, but we're trying to be exceptionally clever tonight and have Brad all the way across the pond. We had him there for a second, but I'm going to hand you over to the more than capable Jack Kinnan. I'm sure I've said your name right. Spot on. And we've got all this fancy new overlays and everything here, so we can see who's going purple sectors, who's going green. We've currently got Niall Quinn out. And hopefully we get Brad back. I don't know, we had him there for a second, but we seem to lose him.
Here.
So he's still there. You are there. So I'll hand you over to Jack, and I'm going to try and jump into my sim here and get going on this. So hopefully this is as good as it was last week. Enjoy it.
Well, good evening, everyone. You're very welcome back to the VRA GTE series, live from Spa Francorchamps. So, Brad, you are there, I'm pretty sure. Can I hear you?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm here, Jack. Good evening.
So, good evening to you. So, Spa, wonderful circuit. I think this is one that every driver's going to want to win.
Yeah, look, it's a legendary place, isn't it? Cast into every young racing driver's dreams of winning on this circuit. It's a real fast, sweeping drivers track, great entertainment, especially in these super capable GTE cars.
Yeah, so just watching the sector times now, Niall Quinn, purple. So if you're wondering what the colours do mean, it is purple for the fastest time of anybody, green is a personal best, and red will mean that they're not going faster than in general. So Niall Quinn currently on a 2:12 there, he goes fastest currently. So Brad, what sort of times are we looking for the big guys here?
Well, it's been interesting watching practice over the last few days, FP1 and FP2. The usual suspects of the Dempseys and Niall Quinn have been setting the timing boards on fire, running down as low as the low 2-minute 11s, which is quite astonishing times. Now, whether they run that in the race is to be seen, but I would expect to see qualifying at least in the low 212s for the main body of the pack, maybe into the mid and late 212s for the some of the tail enders.
And then we're already in kind of the high 212s already, so we're expecting these to tumble down the Kemmel Straight. The interesting about the Kemmel Straight is it's actually uphill. You can't really tell from right here, but it is a big old drag up there, isn't it, Brad?
There's a huge gradient at this circuit. Yeah, as you tip into Eau Rouge, you're climbing then all the way up to Le Coultre. And yeah, it's a big strain on the cars. They're touching around about 260 kilometers an hour by the end of the straight here.
Very, very high speeds indeed, of course. So as if they're not climbing enough of Eau Rouge and Radion, they're continuing to climb up the Kemmel Straight, and the rest of that is all downhill as we watch Evan Walsh head down towards Pouan. This is flat out in modern F1 cars, but of course GT, they don't quite have the same amount of downforce. Evan Walsh was a real bit sideways there, was off the road there, everybody is laughing ruined. But currently it is still Niall Quinn from Brian McMahon's that they've got another P3.
This is an interesting weekend for Evan, as he's first time out in the Ferrari, sorry, in the Porsche. So this is going to be a bit of a race of exploration for Evan, I think, this evening.
Yeah, of course. So Murphy just there going into P4. I think he just slotted in there. It was him for a moment there, but there's Meredith on the 2:13.0. There's only, I believe, maybe 2.5 minutes left on the clock here. Plenty of drivers here today, of course, and not quite the same technical gremlins again. Got a little bit more traffic to show you today. Hope you're sitting comfortably at home. We should be in for a very good race. Rolling start once again, as it was in Daytona. Hopefully it'll keep it clean into the source. Brad, the source, it looks wide, but it really isn't when you're in one of these cars.
No, not at all. It's maximum commitment. You've really got to hit your apex. You've got one shot at it, and you just have to tip it in and make sure you nail it.
Evan Walsh heading up towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Eau Rouge is the left-hander. Radion is what is going up. Now it's on the grass on the way up. We've seen
The
some.
car gets really scary up there through Radion. It comes over the crest. You've really got to be real fine with the steering inputs. Keep the car balanced. Keep the throttle in. You can't dare lift off in that section, otherwise the car will bite you back hard.
Yeah, it's a very, very tricky section. Let's see who else we can get. Let's see who else we can get here. Alright, going down towards home there. And then we have McMullen down towards Eau Rouge in that absolutely huge BMW M8. I don't think anyone quite understands how big that thing is until you put it next to the GTE cars. It's absolutely huge.
Yeah, it's a fabulous looking machine. That's my usual chariot.
It's
not racing tonight, sadly.
Nah, unfortunately, but it has the biggest grunt out of everybody. It's nearly 600 horsepower. So it's a very, very fast in a straight line. A good little machine around this circuit right here. So only a minute left in qualifying. Still Niall Quinn quickest from Brian McManus. Almost a repeat last week. McManus has managed to slot himself in onto the front row. And there, as you say, Brian McManus is now setting a purple fourth sector. The fourth sector, I think, is up towards Blanchimont, that kind of area, but he's coming across the line. And he hasn't quite been able to match his time there, so he remains P2 for now.
Well, as you mentioned, with the power advantage that the BMW M8 is running, I'm expecting a strong showing from those cars up Kemmel Straight. Really looking into Les Combes to make their moves there, and also up the far side of the section, the circuit in Sector 4. We really expect to see the Ferraris and maybe the Porsche dominate the middle two sectors, where the circuit's a little bit more technical, a little bit more twisty, and that will suit the characteristics of those two cars.
So really, Spa is a very balanced circuit for these cars.
Absolutely.
Qualifying, as you can see, checker flag is out on qualifying. You see if anybody can improve. Just watching one of the Dempsey's head round now in the Ferrari 488 GTE. As coming up towards, that's Paul Frere. There's a little kink. Again, very tricky corner again. It's very easy to drift that wide with that tyre veil. Up towards Blanchimont then. And I believe, looks like he kind of backed out of it there. Seems to be keeping on going though. He'll finish the lap anyway.
Jack, it's interesting. The Dempseys are leaving this late. They've been dominant in practice all the way through the week, and Niall Quinn absolutely has the upper hand right now with Brian McManus showing strongly. And yeah, the Dempseys, I thought they'd be there a little bit earlier. They've got it all to do.
Yeah, one of them just improved to a 212.3, so they remain on pole. And well, actually, he's pipped him. So the two Dempseys on the front row, 212.2 and a 212.3.
And as I said,
that's what we like.
Yeah, leaving it late to the last minute. Brilliant stuff from the Dempseys there.
Yeah, okay, so Dempsey and Dempsey, then Niall Quinn, Brian McManus, P4, is a little bit effort from him, and Ryan Moto, P5. We're waiting for Nicky Meredith to finish his lap here. In the other four, he's not really improving, locked up a little bit into the bus stop there. Let's see as he finishes his lap. Can he improve his position? He's currently P6, comes across the line, and he does not improve his lap, unfortunately for him there. Maybe two cars left to run here. James Holman and Ronan Herdeman. James Holman is not improving on his lap at all. Number 104. Again, a lock up. Looks like it's very easy to lock up into the bus stop there.
Again, very, very tricky to get these cars slowed down effectively and pick your braking points to get into some of these slower corners.
So that was just a little battle between Holman and Herdeman. Holman just managed to get himself into the top 10, but it is Dempsey and Dempsey on the front row, and I for one can't wait to see the fireworks into turn one.
Well, again, you know, as we've talked about earlier on, it's a very tricky turn one into this circuit. It's pretty tight down there when you've got 18 GTE cars thundering into a diminishing gap. So there's going to be a lot of discipline required to get around the corners carefully and successfully. As we've seen in the past, lots of accidents and incidents at this place.
So we have 2 minutes to go until we all grid up here. But not quite sure who to put my money on here. And Niall Quinn, of course, came out on top last week, but that was off the back of Dempsey's mistake in the pit lane. So very fine margins right here. But who would you put your money on, Brad?
Well, I think, look, you can't write off any of the top 6. They're all really, really fast guys. I think for me, if free practice is anything to go by in the week, I think Keith Dempsey is just looking so strong out front. He's going to be a hard man to beat today.
Well, we'll see what happens indeed. But yeah, it's interesting. So Ferrari and a BMW sharing the front row, and Quinn McManus, and Meredith, Yamamoto, and Kelly and Masterson, Dowling and Holman. And then further down, Haderman, O'Neill, McMullen, Moore, Walsh, and Maher at the back there. So we're almost ready to go here. I'm quite looking forward to this one, I must say.
It's going to be a good race.
Indeed it is. So we have a rolling start from Blanchimont 30 seconds ago. And if you're wondering, we have Peter Dempsey in the blue Ferrari on your left-hand side of shot, Keith Dempsey in the BMW on your right-hand side, and you're looking for Niall Quinn, who's on the left-hand side there, and you can just see him sticking out in the black and red Ferrari there, and Brian McManus will be alongside him. So it's almost a procession. It's Ferrari, BMW, Ferrari, BMW.
Yeah, it's unusual, but that does show the diversity of the cars, and hopefully that means that we're going to have a great race ahead of us.
Well, we're getting ready to go green, or roll up to the grid. For the safety car to get underway here, and away we roll. So thankfully we don't have to do the full lap behind safety car. So we'll be going through Blanchimont towards the start finish and get underway then. It's a very long lap in these cars, maybe 2 minutes to be double lap behind the safety car. So we're going to go from Blanchimont onwards. But Peter Dempsey kind of with the advantage on turn 1 at the inside line. To be able to protect that, and watch out for Keith on the outside line. Not the favourable line, but it can work, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really, as I say, getting through this first stage of the race without incident. It's a long race. It's 45 minutes, so there's plenty of time if you lose a place to fight that back safely. So smart move and smart driving.
Well, here we go then. We are underway in Spa, and Peter Dempsey has been left standing at the line. Keith Dempsey on the outside line, and looks to be making it work around the outside into the source for the first time, and then going side by side to the backhand. Quinn looking trying to get through versus Dempsey up towards Brady on for the first time. Then Keith Dempsey has surged away out front. Peter Dempsey and Niall Quinn side by side up towards Ulrich and Randy O'Neill side by side. Niall Quinn around the outside line. He's somehow made that work. Brilliant stuff there. Nicky Meredith trying to get through behind as well. Oh, the accident in the background. That's massive in the background. Peter Dempsey gets spun around up on Rouge. There's multiple cars involved there. And somehow James Holman has managed to come up through all that to P5. What do you make of that, Brad? That was absolutely mad.
It's always the danger here on full tanks of fuel, cold tyres. It's always the risk, particularly if a driver's got dropped out of place. And unfortunately, as we feared, we've seen a bit of carnage through Radion into Kemmel. There's going to be some broken cars now, which is a real shame for some of those drivers. They expect to see some pit stops shortly.
Yeah, what a shame for Peter Dempsey, the pole sitter, out after not even making it through a lap. But Keith Dempsey absolutely nailed it off the line. I think he seemed to be a little bit asleep, but he managed to get away. He's about 3 seconds clear now of Niall Quinn. Nicky Meredith there as well, Brian McManus. And James Holman, brilliant getaway from, I think he started at 11th and he's up now to P5. So brilliant job from him to get himself up there.
Yeah, I don't quite know what happened to Peter at the start. Now, I mean, the difference with the interesting thing with this race, with this category, obviously we're doing rolling starts, and it's really all about timing. The safety car goes in, and too much of that start. It's not quite as fine line as a green light. So it is all down to the pole sitter to judge that, and I think Peter just got it wrong.
Yeah, so it's all down to who is awake off the line, and Keith Dempsey was certainly awake. There he is, out front. After lap 1, chaos, he managed to get himself through it. He leads after lap 1. Niall Quinn is second. Nicky Meredith has now, I believe, managed to get past Brian McManus. Brian McManus is pounding the back of him there, so we've got a little battle for third place as he gets right from underneath him there. There's Brian. Further down, let's go a little bit further down. We have Roland Hayden leading a train of cars here. Dowling, Neil, Walsh, Murphy's in there too. So nice little fight going on down there. Let's go back up to this part here. This looks like it could be a tasty battle. 2 Ferraris versus BMW.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is where it's going to start coming into play, looking at the strengths of the two cars, the two manufacturers there, and really starting to see where one car can gain on the other, and also where they're strong on the track, so that they can work out where they can make their move.
Yeah, of course. So Niall Quinn currently holding station in P2. Nicky Meredith trying to chase him behind. Brian McManus and the other BMW is behind. James Holman kind of in a world of his own there. He's about 5 seconds behind these guys, about 9 seconds clear. The other guys behind him. You can see him there, just going around on his own. He'll be happy with how his start went. We have Roland Haydeman together with Adam Dowling in P6 and 7. Evan Walsh is behind as well. Then we have another BMW and Ferrari fight with Rob O'Neill with Conor Murphy behind him. And of course Niall Maher in behind fighting, so this will be a good old battle. 2 Ferraris versus BMW down here, and 2 Ferraris versus BMW out front. So who's going to come out on top? Let's see. Once again, Keith Dempsey out the way.
So just looking back a couple of corners ago, there's a great battle between Roland Hedderman, Adam Dowling and the Ferraris. Fighting against each other, tracking each other beautifully. So that's an interesting one to watch there in the midfield.
Yeah, this battle behind has really heated up here as Murphy's managed to get past him. Maher's trying to go around the outside of Blanchimont. That's really brave if he pulls that one off around the outside of Blanchimont. Well done, Niall, around the outside. Nicely done. Around the outside on the view goes. That's brave stuff to Blanchimont. And I'm sure he'll be happy with that one. I can see he's on the motion rig beside me. I haven't heard any celebrations from him yet, but I get to watch that one back. So
Niall, it's been interesting to watch Niall the last week or two. He's really starting to find his form again and find some confidence in that car. And he's becoming a threat in the upper midfield.
To see, of course. But Niall Quinn and Nicky Meredith, they have now formed a breakaway group. Brian McManus has fallen off the back, and in the background, that looks like James Holden and Roland Hayderman about to get... Sorry, no, it's Peter Dempsey. He's still running around. As you can see, he's trying to unlap himself. So he wasn't the inside. So he is still running around. So it'll be interesting to see where he manages to get himself back, because he's in a massive uphill battle now.
So did he go into the pits, Jack? Did I miss that? I'm not sure we saw that.
I think he did, yeah, but he had a very long pit stop. I thought he was out completely.
Yeah.
But he is still running around in last place. We'll see how he gets on if he manages to get himself up through the field after his unfortunate incident on lap number 1. We have, of course, Roland Hayderman and Adam Dowling battling it out in P6 and 7 here. Evan Walsh kind of holding behind there as well. And of course, Hayderman and Walsh had a big old fight last week in Daytona. Went right to the line. 7/100 of a second separated them over the line. It was a really nice battle between the two of them. So let's see if we have another one of those today. Let's cycle through the field then. Let's go back up to the front and see how things are unfolding. There's Niall Quinn, and Meredith has fallen away from him now, so Niall is really picking up the pace here, trying to catch up to Keith out front. But, let's have a quick, just let's cycle through the camera zoom. See, I've hit the wrong button, and I've now gone back to that camera. There we go. And Nicky Meredith versus Brian McManus, right here in the Ferrari versus the BMW. And you can see, just on the lap times there, fastest lap of the race, Niall Quinn. So I think we're going to have a repeat of last week.
starting to turn the hook up now. He's got the tyres in the optimum window, and that's a really crucial thing on these cars, particularly the early couple of laps with them. The tyres just aren't in the right temperature, they aren't in the right window, the car isn't settled. To be honest, a lot of the time it drives like a boat, and it really does take just 1 or 2 laps just to get the car into the optimum window, get yourself settled in the circuit, and then you really start to push. And I think we're now starting to see that from Niall.
Yeah, just seeing this battle unfolding now, and Brian McManus tried to move around the outside of Lake Com there, but didn't quite pull out for him, but he is now trying for P3. So we will keep an eye on this battle here as they head into Brussels, which is downhill. And this interesting corner, which seems to be a paradox in itself. It's called No Name Corner, but it does actually have a name. It's called No Name Corner. So it's a paradox, I think.
I think that's a little bit of Belgian humour.
So Mickey Meredith leading Brian McManus. Now let's follow the battles that are behind too. Peter Dempsey is actually catching up to them now, so you can see what might have been if he had not been involved in that lap 1 incident, which is an absolutely horrendous crash, I must say.
There's going to be some sore drivers after that one.
Yeah, for sure. Let's hope he's not using a direct drive wheel. That would hurt. So Haberman, Adam Dowling, and now Evan Walsh has now caught this train. So this is going to be another interesting fight. You see Noam Mara still fighting with one of the Ferraris there. I can see. Seem to be, yep, I couldn't quite get the graphic up there. It's Conor Murphy he's fighting with here for P9.
So after 4 laps gone in the race, the order as it stands now is Dempsey out front, Quinn in second, Meredith coming in third, McManus fourth, followed by Holman, Hederman, Dowling, Walsh, Marr in 9th, Murphy in 10th, O'Neill 11th, David Yamamoto unusually down in 12th, obviously got caught up in that lap 1 incident, Kelly 13th, McMullen 14th, Masterton is 15th.
Yeah, this battle.
Dempsey in 16th.
So just see Conor Murphy has just managed to get past Niall Maher there as they run up towards turn 1. Locks up the fronts there. Niall trying to follow him behind. Looks like he is ahead for now, but this battle is very much continuing. But I was noticing out front that Niall Quinn is lapping faster than our race leader. Only by a tenth of a second, but he is chipping away at that gap.
Plenty of time still.
Yeah, let's have a look to the front. And there is Keith Dempsey. He's led every single lap race. And Niall Quinn, yeah, he has definitely got closer. The gap is from 1.5 seconds there in themselves. About 3 seconds clear of Mickey Meredith and Brian McManus, who are behind. Cycle back to those guys who are still quite close together. Brian McManus, he had a goal a lap ago and wasn't able to make it work. You can just see Peter Dempsey there behind our pole sitter, unfortunately, involved in that lap 1 incident. Then we have Roland Hayden and Adam Dowling and Evan Walsh about to go at it. I think Evan Walsh is trying to have a go at getting past as we go towards Campos. So I think he might be trying to line up a move for the bus stop, Brad.
Yeah, again, a lot of these drivers are going to start thinking about where they can make a gain on the guy in front of them, where their car's strong, and really setting up the pass, maybe 3, 4, 5 corners ahead of where they are.
So let's see how the Porsche gets on. He's pulling to this will be the outside for Blanchimont, and the BMW does have a bit more grunt than the Porsche, but as we run towards Blanchimont, he's still on the outside. Evan Walsh trying to go around the outside of Adam Dowling here, around the outside. He's made it work. Brave stuff. It's the second time we've seen that today. People are brave today.
Great to see Evan Walsh getting racing. I think he's very keen to put one over on his A-team compatriot there and just show him what he's about.
Yeah, so Evan Walsh goes through to P7 and he now chases after Ronan Haderman, who he had a big old fight with last week. So that would be interesting to keep our eyes on too. Meanwhile, you just see David Yamamoto trying to make a comeback here. He's dropped back behind Niall Maher, but he is trying to come around the outside of turn 1, trying to outbrake Niall there. Comes around the outside, carries the momentum, and he does actually make it work. So running up towards Eau Rouge once again. Let's see if Miller can back at him maybe. Rally on. You see the elevation change there. It's very tricky. Get that right, but the BMW just has the grunt in a straight line to keep itself out.
That was great control from Yamamoto though to pick the braking point, get that right into the source, and just turn the car in, make it stick, and make the move on Mahampur. So that was brilliant.
Great stuff from him there. Now the gap in front has remained steady at 1.5 seconds. This is exactly what we saw last week between them, matching each other lap on lap. It was only because Keith made a mistake on the pit entry that handed the victory to Niall Quinn. He'll be wanting to make amends for that this week. Meanwhile, this battle carries on. Nicky Meredith and Brian McManus with Peter Dempsey now on the back. Was a lap down at this point, nearly maybe 2 or 3 laps down at this point. He's trying to get himself in the field. He's going to have a hard time here. It's because Brian McManus is about to line up a move on Nicky Meredith, I think. Running up towards Blanchevot once again. BMW's got a bit more grunt. He looks to the outside. Nicky covers that off as they come through Blanchevot once again. Dempsey is on the outside line there, so he is alongside. Now, what does Brian do here? Does he let Peter through? And he might have to force him to get past Nicky Meredith here. This is a tricky situation for Brian. He knows Peter Dempsey's quicker. Peter Dempsey's always also a lap down. It's a really hard call to make here.
Well, I think the best form of his defence is to go on the attack, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. So he's got to. I think what he does now is he needs to get in behind Peter as we go towards Orange and Rallion. And if Peter forces a move on Nicky Meredith here, he might be able to slip through. So we'll watch here.
Yeah, he's got to tuck up and use that toe.
Down towards Les Combes. I don't think Meredith's going to put up too much of a fight here. Peter Dempsey isn't in his race, and that really was the perfect opportunity to let him through and carry on his merry way, because Meredith lost very little time. Brian McManus is right there.
Yeah, Brian's made good use of that slight interruption with Dempsey coming through to unlap himself. Let's see if he can stay now on the gearbox of Meredith.
Yeah, so Dempsey now can see what his pace is compared to the race leaders who are ahead of him. So we have 15 minutes gone, would you believe, of this race. So we've done well so far to keep it all together, apart from that lap 1 incident, which is a little bit unfortunate for everybody. But now, Mans continues to chase Nicky Meredith. Let's have a look further down as well. James Holman's still there, sitting for P5, Ronan Haderman and Evan Walsh together. Adam Dowling, David Yamamoto is now ahead of Conor Murphy. Niall Maher's dropped back there, and I'm not sure what happens with Jordan Kelly there as well. Damien McMullen, Pat Masterson, and then we have, of course, Rob O'Neill and Peter Dempsey down the back. But the gap up front has closed down quite dramatically.
So if you're watching this at home and you're enjoying the stream, you're enjoying watching the racing, and you'd like to get involved with us, then head on over to www.vra.ie. Come and get involved with us. We're a great bunch of people. It's a great community. We have 2 race nights, a Monday night for iRacing and a Wednesday night for Assetto Corsa. We encourage everybody of all levels, even if you've never done it before but you want to get into it, or you've done a little bit and you would like to join a club and start racing with some friends, then head on over to the website. All the details are there. And get involved.
Yeah, that's the best advice we can give you. Just get yourself involved if you even vaguely think you want to. So, just see Peter Dempsey not really getting away. That's a mistake from Nicky Meredith. Brian McManus might be able to capitalise here. The momentum is gone for this next section as they run down towards Brussels. He might have a look on the inside here with the extra grunt. Nicky gives him the squeeze. Holds him back for now.
That was tight.
It was
strong,
very tight.
Robust defence.
Yeah, that was, to put it mildly, that was a robust defence. Nicky Meredith, he really wanted to keep him behind there.
Well, he's showing his experience in his racecraft now.
Yeah, especially to keep a car as big as the M8 behind them. So Meredith carries on, tries to get his mindset back where he was before that little mistake into Lake Com.
It's very difficult in the mind of a driver now when you know you've made a mistake like that. You're under pressure. You've got a guy who's right there with you there. You've then got to get yourself refocused, get back in the groove, find the rhythm, and start hitting those apexes and clean lines, because that's what gives you the lap time. It's very easy to get rattled and get out of that groove, and it's now on Nicky to really just head down, focus, get back on it.
Yeah, there was a trade over racing where you're able to get yourself back together after a little mistake. So Ricky Meredith had managed to do that. Roland Haveman and Evan Walsh are together at last here in the Porsche and the Ferrari. This was a very, very good fight last week, and it was a very intriguing fight to watch right into the line. 700 between them, with Evan Walsh getting very close to the back of that Ferrari. Roland goes defensive. Evan Walsh to the outside line of the bus stop now. He'll have a cutback line for this next part. Roland needs to park the bus really, but Evans looks like he's got the drive out of the bus stop chicane to run down towards that source. For the 9th time of asking, he looks to the outside. Roland Hedron holds that inside line. Now he'll have to be careful not to lock up too much here. Evan looking for the cutback there. Textbook stuff from Evan Walsh, but Roland has managed to hold on to that just about for now. Evan Walsh slots it behind, but he will have a go as they run up towards Eau Rouge and Radillon. Once again, coming down towards Lake Com, once again, down the Kemmel Straight. Evan Walsh with the slipstream here. Roland will hold that inside line. Evan will have to go to the outside if he wants this one. Moves to the outside line. Oh, this is allowing Adam Dowling to close in. But here comes Evan Walsh to the outside line. Can he outbrake the Ferrari right here? I don't think he's going to be able to. Holds the inside, now gets the cutback. Trying to get underneath the Ferrari here. Great fight here between Haderman and Walsh, as we saw last week. Again, they are uber close and defensive to the inside there for Roland Haderman. He really wants to keep this Porsche behind him. This is excellent stuff from the two of them.
And of course, these two great friends off track and fierce competitors on track. So they will both be loving this inside the car.
Yeah, of course, add that bit of personality to the racing here. Roland holds that in the middle of the track as they run towards Pouhon, but Evan is all over him as they run through Pouhon. And all of this, as I said, Adam Dowling is right there in the BMW. So Ferrari versus Porsche versus BMW here. Evan Walsh dives into the inside line, they make contact, and around Ferrari hold it together, just manages to keep it out of the wall, but Evan went for it. Contact made, he goes through. Roland managed to keep it together just about there. Adam Dowling managed to get through as well. What do you make of that, Brad?
Well, I think some may say that was slightly inevitable. We all know that Evan. Oh, do you know what? Looking back at it again, was there a touch, or did Roland just lose it, being a little bit too late on the brakes? I'm not sure, but yeah, we all know that Evan likes to be adventurous. He's had a go and he's made it work out for him. I think the stewards may look at it later.
Yeah, might be one the battle we need to look at is the battle for the lead, because Niall Quinn is right on the back of Keith Dempsey here. They run towards the cameras, they're down towards Lake Com. Keith Dempsey to the inside line, Niall Quinn to the outside in the Ferrari. Can he outbrake that massive M8?
He took 4 tenths.
Onto the brakes. It's going to be tight. Keith Dempsey defends. Niall Quinn trying to get the cutback line. Keith holds that inside. Niall tries to get underneath, but good stuff from Keith Dempsey to keep him behind for now.
Now, Jack, the question is, are the tyres on that heavy BMW starting to show signs?
Yeah, that might be a factor here. We're 21 minutes. We're almost halfway through this race.
Has Niall Quinn done a better job protecting those tyres in the first few laps of the race? Was that what he was doing, maybe?
Could have been, yeah, because now he's starting to really put the attack on Keith, or he's keeping the same pace, and Keith is just falling off the pace because of the tyre wear. Something we need to keep an eye on, of course, as we will be heading to the first round of stops very shortly. We're almost halfway through this race.
So Quinn was 4 tenths quicker on that last lap than Keith Dempsey. So that's a big delta, and if he keeps going at that rate, it's going to be very hard to keep.
Yeah, so what does Keith do now? Does he be the first? Is he the first one going to come into the pit lane then? because of the wear, try and maybe get an undercut on Niall. If he can get that outlap after the spot on with this, Niall Quinn will be flying on those tyres. I think he's been conserving for this first half of the race. Let's watch as Keith Dempsey carries on, but Niall Quinn is right with him. And he's got to be careful. He's got to defend from that Ferrari. Now, actually, Keith was quicker that lap, as you can see, by 4/10. So he's actually brought the gap out to what it was before that.
So Keith's fighting back, okay.
So this is a little kind of back and forth going between them, which is intriguing to watch. Now I'm just seeing, oh, that was Brian McManus making a mistake there. Nicky Meredith and Brian McManus lap car kind of slotting in between them there, one of the BMWs. Let's try and see how that Walsh and Dowling battle is going on. I think we've just seen our first pitter. James Holman is in for his first stop then. After a great
first out of 5th place.
Yeah, he came in
out of 7 Walsh now, so with a clear track in front of him, he can go after Brian McManus. And can he start to close down on his VRA team?
So how far has Roman Hader fallen back? He's fallen back quite a bit because he's now in the hands of David Yamamoto, who's been slowly pulling away, and he's trying to recover from a poor kind of opening half. He kind of dropped away on that first lap, possibly caught up in that instant, but he is trying to make a recovery drive here in the M8. So let's see if we can get past Roland here.
This is a very calm and short drive from David Yamamoto. After the disappointment of that lap 1 incident, he's, as you say, he's quietly and determinedly just got on with his race, put in some great lap times, and he's clawing his way back through the field strongly. And he's going to be a man for contention at the end of the race.
Yeah, we cannot count out anybody in this race. That's a big mistake. He had only about 11 minutes left. Sorry, my maths has gone all wrong. 21 minutes left to run. Yeah, let's ignore that. Carrying on.
As my old mate Murray would say, we have half the race done and we have half the race to go.
Half the race to go. Of course. So Dempsey and Quinn matching each other now. 8/10 of a second between them. We'll have a look at the lap times this time by 2:12.9 to 13.0, so virtually nothing between them. To Nicky Meredith there, P3. Brian McManus falling behind a little bit there. You can see Peter Dempsey, I think, has made up a place actually. I think he's just got past Damien McMullen. So he has made up a place there. He's in now in 15th place.
Yeah, that's come up showing on our timing screens.
In comes Evan Walsh. So now I believe he'll be trying to cover off James Holman after that, after his pit stop.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, James will be on fresh tyres, albeit on more fuel, but yeah, Evan's doing the right thing here.
Yeah, and we just see James is right up behind Niall Maher here in B10 and B9. So we just see he's going to continue on his lead. We'll keep an eye on where Evan is. He is in the pit exit. He's on his way out. Watch out for James Holman. There he is with Niall Maher into turn 1. I think James is going to get ahead. But Evan Walsh is going to be right with them as they come out of the pit lane. That's very tight. Evan Walsh, I think James is going to just about have him as they run down towards Eau Rouge. That is the margin right there.
And that shows you why it's critical to pick the timings for those pit stops.
Yeah, of course. And of course, I don't think Niall there helped him either, but I think Evan is going to come back at him here very quickly. He needs to make short work of James Holman, but James will defend that, as he is very entitled to do. He has now got that position through the pit stops on track, but Evan is right with him, so he's got a sniff at 7th position, or what is on track 7th position, but it's about, I think it's battle for 5th essentially.
So net 5, yeah. So obviously James Holman, his tyres are now up to temperature. Evan has got to really spend this lap just getting those tyres into optimum. So he's really got to just work them gently, not over push them, otherwise you can find yourself in all sorts of bother.
Yeah, so up front, no driver has come in yet. Neither Keith nor Niall Quinn has come in. And again, they're virtually matching each other, identical at times, each time by. Mickey Meredith also keeping pace with them. Brian McMahon is falling behind there, but Evan Ward, we still keep an eye on this battle because this is the closest battle we have on track, essentially. As Evan tries to get past that Ferrari, carrying more corner speed there. They run through Paul Frere. Getting in slipstream with the Ferrari, running up towards Blanchimont. Nice toe towards there on lap 13 of this race. Trying to get past that bright pink Ferrari. Through Blanchimont he runs. Got to start thinking about the line. He's trying to come up to the bus stop. Coleman goes a bit wide. He holds the middle of the road. Evan Walsh dummies to the inside line. Onto the brakes. Got to get it stopped. And he looks like he's going to be able to get that Porsche stopped and gets through into what is essentially P5 in this race. Nice job from Evan Walsh there.
Fantastic driving. He's got a great front end on that car this week.
Yeah,
you really watch him nose. He tucks it into the apex, no problem at all. He can pull a tighter line than pretty much anyone else around him. He's really done a great job on that car setup this week.
Yep, stopped on anchors that car. So just see where Ronan Haderman is going to come out. He's in the pit lane at the moment. Niall Maher's in there too. In comes Pat Masterson. And there's Conor Murphy coming down the main straight there. So here comes Conor Murphy around the outside.
Come out ahead of Masterson, I think, is somewhere about there.
Let's have a look. Run through, keep an eye on Jordan Kelly on his way through the bus stop chicane now. Here comes the main straight. Where is he going to come out? Pat Masterson's still in the pit lane.
Yeah, so Masterson's pitting, yeah.
And just seeing Owen, Dempsey and Quinn are bumper to bumper on the way to the pit lane. This is going to be a battle in the pit lane. Look at this. They're right up against her. Niall is trying to get every tenth out of that car into the pit lane. This is going to be an intriguing battle out of the pit lane here.
Well, Jack, nearly 30 minutes of racing gone, and there is a millimetre to separate them coming into the pit.
Excellent stuff. So that's going to leave
great racing.
Meredith in he comes. Brian McManus in. And let's keep an eye on any of the other cars that are coming through. There's Damien Mullen. David Yamamoto, I'm assuming he's going to be pitting on this lap. So he's coming through the bus stop now, so let's keep an eye. And I think Quinn has jumped Dempsey in the pits. I'm not sure, but they're on their way out now. Dempsey is
there. To catch up.
He's trying to keep it together. Where is Niall Quinn? I think he's still in the pit.
Niall had a problem in the pits.
Yeah, I think so. He's come out miles in front.
So
Keith is going to come straight.
So Keith has had an issue in the pits then.
Yeah, Keith Dempsey has fallen
in the last race as well.
Yeah. So there was no mistake on the pit entry this week, but there seems to be a mistake in the pit stop itself this week. So Keith Dempsey once again seems to have lost this race in the pits for the second week in a row.
Oh, this is going to hurt him. He's going to be absolutely raging behind the wheel of that car right now. And there'll be some words with his pit crew at the end of this race.
Yeah. So there is Conor Murphy. Ronan Haderman's fallen quite the way behind that for that instant with Evan Walsh. Peter Dempsey, by the way, has managed to claw his way back to 12th, so he's doing a good job here. So not too bad from Peter there.
So we'll try and bring you a few words from Keith at the end of the race, just to have a chat to him about what happened in that pit stop. That could have well decided this race now.
Once again, pit stops. We're not too sure what caused that. Maybe Quinn took on less fuel, we don't know, but it could have been a mess up in the strategy team there. But it has meant that I believe Quinn is nearly 10 seconds ahead at this point in the race. Let's have a look at the gap if we can. There he is.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jack.
He's more than 10 seconds ahead.
He's way up the road now. Now this is going to take a Herculean effort from Dempsey to get back in contention, or indeed a mistake from Quinn.
Yeah, of course, you can't count out a mistake. But he's
Typically,
nearly.
Niall's not the man who makes them.
Yeah, that's very true. So it's nearly a 15, 16 second gap between the leaders, and it was millimeters on the way into the pit lane. So you can just see what kind of damage a bad pit stop can do to you.
Yeah, unbelievable luck there for Dempsey. He's now got his work cut out for him. Let's see what he can do with the lap times. Hopefully now he can go a little bit quicker now in the middle of the battle. He can just focus on hitting his lines and putting in the lap times.
Yeah, so keeping an eye on this little battle between James Holden and Evan Walsh. James Holden has managed to hold on. But fair play to David Yamamoto, who is now in 7th of his own merit after a great drive, and he's now closing up to the back of these guys.
Well, we've got Meredith now, 4 seconds behind Dempsey?
Yeah, that could be a battle, potentially. We'll see what kind of pace Nicky Meredith has. But he is there. Let's see how he gets on. You just see the position gains for everybody. Evan Walsh, he's in 6th place right now. He's up 9 places from when he started. He virtually started at the back. So he's done a great job to get himself into 6th place. James Holden as well, P10. He's got up to 5th place on merit as well after all the carnage on lap 1. So he's done an excellent job there.
So at the end of lap 15, the order as it stands is Quinn, Dempsey, Meredith, McManus, Holman in 5th, Walsh running fantastically 6th, Yamamoto, who's done a great job to claw himself back through the field, in 7th, Murphy in 8th, Hederman in 9th, Mahan 10th, Kelly 11th, Dempsey, Peter in 12th, Masterson 13th, O'Neill 14th, and Damien McMullen in 15th. And we've lost Dowling and Moore so far.
Yeah, after that humongous crash on lap 1, that is the reason that they are no longer participating in this race. Now, Keith Meredith is not keeping pace with Keith Dempsey. Brian McManus is virtually matching Meredith there. Of course, keep an eye on what is going on here. There is a lapped car battle. Nicky Meredith's got to get through because Peter Dempsey is trying to get past McMullen here, and Meredith's done an excellent job of getting through that. That was very hairy stuff.
His heart would have been in his mouth seeing that. Dempsey is busy running his own race, unlapping himself and getting himself back into contention, and of course perhaps not paying the absolute most amount of attention behind him, but both drivers are doing a great job, and Meredith slipped on by cleanly, so a good result there.
Peter Dempsey has made the position on Brian McMullen for 14th. So Dempsey continues to run around. You can just see in the background Brian McManus is now going to be the next one to get past Damien McMullen here. He's the last car running around here. 10 minutes left to go here. So this race has flown by, but it has almost been a repeat of last week with Keith Dempsey losing out in the pit stops. Is this going to be a recurring theme?
I think it could well be. We are reaching the latter stages of the race, and with this much gap now, this much advantage, Niall Quinn is not the kind of man who's going to throw that lead away.
Yeah, I just noticed that we missed something in the midfield because David Yamamoto has managed to get past Evan Walsh. So I think Evan Walsh has made a mistake somewhere.
Mistake somewhere that we haven't seen. There he is on track.
And Yamamoto catching James Holman, so Yamamoto could get himself into P5, which would be a fantastic recovery drive. And I think it's the best he can hope for because these guys are 30 seconds behind the leaders. So they're just running their own race. It's probably an excellent result for James to get past here.
Well, Yamamoto, as we know, is a hugely experienced sim racer and a class act behind the wheel. So fantastic showing from him so far.
So they continue to run around here. 17 laps completed. And not long left to go, just about 8 minutes left. So that'll be about maybe 4 laps, 4 full laps before we reach the end of this race. This battle between Holman and Yamamoto is currently at Hosea, and Holman has made a mistake into the bus stop chicane. He's locked up, and that's allowed David to close himself up a little bit more now. So they're down to 0.6 of a second after being 1.4 momentarily. So things not going quite so swimmingly. I think Holman might be feeling the pressure a little bit here.
Well, I think you have to think that a move is imminent. And David will be watching that, and maybe a little bit of a wry smile behind the wheel, and just thinking, biding his time, putting the pressure on, and just waiting for James to give him a hint.
So David can definitely smell blood. He's coming for him. It's only a matter of time, I think, before he makes his way through. But of course, we can always count on Evan Walsh to pick up pieces. Things go wrong here. So the pity, of course, Ronan Haderman really should be involved in this battle too, because he ended up in that little tussle with Evan, which might be looked at later on, we would think.
I wonder if he's carrying a little bit of damage on that car, maybe. A bit of damage to the aero, which is just costing him a touch of pace now.
David is right up behind Holman as they run through no-name corner down towards Coulon. And now already going to be thinking about the bus stop chicane. Can he get himself past this bright pink Ferrari? Very easy to pick out in the field. With David Yamamoto ready to pounce on this Ferrari very shortly. Pull off an amazing recovery drive. Oh, he's trying already. Out the outside as they run towards that. Came out of nowhere, around the outside, and he's done it. So brilliant job, David Yamamoto, from falling down the field earlier. Picks up the pieces from James Holman's mistake and is through to P5. Absolutely incredible job.
Well, again, just showing his class there. Saw the opportunity and just pounced, caught Holman completely unaware, and just sent one. What a fantastic pass that.
Now, I'm not quite sure what happened to Nicky Meredith that lap, but Brian McManus has caught him by 2 seconds.
Well, so Meredith had a very slow lap. He had a 2:16.4, which is a good 2 to 2.5 seconds off the leading pace. So he must have made a mistake somewhere along the lap.
There's definitely something happened. Let's see if Brian can capitalise on that. Oh, he spun! Meredith spun in Lake Com, and he's gifted Brian McManus the podium. Now, can David Yamamoto capitalise? How far back is he? He can't be. Well, he's miles back actually, so he won't be able to. But not quite close to pick up the pieces there. But unfortunate, just got on the power too quickly there, and dropped it. Drops the P4.
I'm just going to throw this out there, Jack. Yamamoto for a podium. Could he do it?
It might not be out of the question yet.
Could that be the story of the day?
Well, let's not count it out, because we've just seen the mistakes up front, and literally anything can happen here. So David's going to be wishing some mechanical failures or something on his competitors up front. See if he can get that podium. By the way, he'll be happy with the 5th after what happened to him on that one.
So we're coming into the final 2 or 3 laps now of this race, and I think you'll agree, Jack, there's been some fantastic battles all the way through the field, particularly in the midfield. You know, super challenges to watch. Really close racing all the way through the field.
Yeah, of course, we did have the odd incident, but everyone drove very, very well, and credit to the league. And now we could see a little battle brewing here. Evan Walsh versus James Holman once again. Round 2. Yeah. Let's see who comes out on top this time.
And when you know when Evan Walsh is involved, there's going to be fireworks.
Oh yes, indeed. So here comes Evan Walsh to back that Ferrari once again. He's seen it once already, and he's closing quickly onto the inside line. Thinks about a move, shows himself in the mirrors, trying to put James off into the bus stop chicane.
Lights are blazing in the mirrors.
Yeah. So here he comes towards La Source once again. Antonio leads Evan Walsh, and you can see Walsh caught him by nearly 2 seconds that lap, so Holman made a mistake. There's a lock-up for him into La Source. Evan will try and get the cutback line. Then managed to work that time. So I'm not quite sure what happened to James there, but he seems to have had a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, I wonder whether he's struggling with the car now or struggling with the tyres maybe. The track temperature is rising a little bit, but Evan using that very late apex. Really
Great
effective.
inside. Here he comes down the Kemmel straight. Virtually no room there, but Evan Walsh to the inside line on James
Making
Holman.
it
James
work.
will try and hold on the outside. He's got it done already on the brakes. And brilliant stuff through the P6.
A strong showing from Walsh this week.
James is coming back at him though. He's not having that. Trying to come back at him through Brussels. Not quite going to be able to do it there. A little bit of a lock-up from Evan. But should be able to hold on to that one. Possibly the tyre starting to fall away on that Ferrari now. Not long left to go now. Just about 3 minutes left to run. Well, actually, we have about maybe a lap to go in this race.
I think we'll see maybe 2 more laps. We'll see this one and the
Let's see as Niles just crossing the line now. So, yeah, we should see maybe another lap after this one.
Unless, of course, Niall could be cute here and just back off. He's got space. He could back off potentially and just allow that timer to click over. But I think Niall, being the racer he is, he'll keep pushing.
Yeah. So Brian McLaren's got a lonely third now after Nicky Meredith's mistake. David Yamamoto, he's there in P5. He's 25 seconds behind Nicky Meredith, but he'll be happy where he is nonetheless. Evan Walsh and James Holman together in P6 and 7. Roland Haderman in P8 after contact with his teammate. Jordan Kelly quietly going about his business in P9.
Yeah, we haven't talked too much about Jordan today. It's again his solid job. He's kept his powder dry and kept himself in the midfield solidly there. Great battles with Hederman and Maher.
Yeah, of course. Maher, of course, started at the back of the grid, up to P10. Not a bad job at all from him, Pat Masterson, and then, of course, our pole sitter Peter Dempsey after that huge crash on lap 1. Still running around in P12, so fair play to him for carrying on. I think that's a really tough thing to do, is to carry on even though you're really far down.
Well, I think it's he's racing for pride, really, isn't he? He showed great pace all through practice and qualifying. Unfortunately, got caught out from the start, made a mistake that cost him heavily. But I think he's just racing for his own pride. And great to see that he picked himself back up.
Oh,
and got into
what's
it.
happened to Evan Walsh? He's out.
Oh, we've lost Evan.
We've lost Evan Walsh, yeah. I didn't see what happened, but he's out of this race. Now, I don't know if that was contact with Holman, but he's no longer running around.
Oh, that's a real shame for Evan. He's had a great race today. We'll try and find out and bring that to you once we know what's happened, but unfortunately we didn't pick it up on our cameras.
Yeah, Niall Quinn is going to win this race. The timer's ticked over with 5 seconds as he crosses the line. Niall Quinn is going to win this race. I think he's got one more lap, actually. Hasn't come up the checkered flag yet. But
so he takes the white flag.
Takes the white flag for now. Going to win at this point unless something drastic happens out front.
Niall, ever the professional, will bring this home safely, I'm sure. To what has been a solid drive. He's made the most of opportunities presented to him. Desperately unlucky for Dempsey there in the pits. We'll try and bring you some more information on that as and when we get it. But Niall, again, absolutely solid out front. Really kept his cool. Thoroughly deserved this race win. Yeah,
and again, managed to get it all together in the pit stops, which for whatever reason seems to be the bane of Keith Dempsey this season. So whatever happens here, we just don't know. But unfortunately, has dropped out as a result. Still P2 though, but he won't be happy with that, and he knows he could have fought for that win. But once again, Niall Quinn controlling the race out front. 10 seconds clear from Keith in P2, and Brian McManus on for a podium here. Not a bad job at all, and Nicky Meredith.
Quiet race from Brian, but again solid and calm. He's not quite had the pace of the leaders, but he's made the most of the pace that he's had in that BMW, and just kept himself clean again for a solid podium drive.
Yep, so nice job from Brian. So Niall Quinn coming through the last sector now. On He's been he followed Keith Dempsey for the first half and then jumped him in the pit lane. Has been since, so he hasn't had it all his own way for the entire race, but he's had the entire second half to himself. Clear road ahead of him, no problems whatsoever. Up towards the bus stops
imperious
again.
drive from Niall in the second half of this race. He's really
sublime stuff.
placed.
So through he comes through the last corner. Checkered flag is out. Niall Quinn, 2 in a row. He wins in Spa. Fantastic drive from Niall Quinn. Keith Dempsey ruining that mistake in the pit lane for the second week in a row. Whatever happened to him, but he comes through to take P2 in this race. And Brian McManus coming through the bus stop now. He'll be really happy with this one. Picked up the pieces from Nicky Meredith's mistake and came through to take that podium. He'll cross the line in P3. And Nicky Meredith there, he's in the bus stop chicane, locks up, goes a little mistake through there, but he is going to come through and take P4. He'll still be happy with that, I reckon, even with all the mistakes. And props to the man coming through now, David Yamamoto. Whatever happened to him on lap 1, involved in the incident, sidled his way through the field in the number 50 machine, and he will come through to take 5th place in Spa. Well done to David. Great drive.
Fantastic. And at this point, Jack, I'm going to ask you now, give me your driver of the day.
I don't know who. I'd have to give it to Niall Quinn because of the dominance he showed in the second half of the race there. So Niall Quinn for me.
Fantastic. So Niall Quinn cleans up, takes the race win and driver of the day. And a fantastic race here in the legendary Spa circuit for the VRA Championship. And that's your podium, ladies and gentlemen. Niall Quinn takes the win, Keith Dempsey P2, and Brian McManus P3.
Yeah, just waiting for the last couple of cars across the line. Jordan Kelly about to come through, take a solid P8 right here. He'll be pleased with that one. And who do we have left? We have Niall Maher.
Just waiting for Maher and Masterson now.
He started in 18th on the grid. Comes through to take P9. Not a bad job at all from Niall here. He's got Pat Masterson hounding him behind, so he's got to make sure he doesn't spin to this last corner.
Well, as we know,
comes.
Niall's been over it in the UK at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and I wonder if he's found some divine inspiration over there. And he's come back a different man, because he's showing great form and great pace today.
Yeah, so nice job from all the drivers here today. Niall Quinn, from Keith Dempsey, and Brian McManus, Nicky Meredith, Brian Yamamoto. Once again, we didn't forget to mention James Holman. Great job from 10th on the grid to get himself up there. Ronan Haderman with the damage, I think that would have affected him.
So I'm just hearing through the team chat, Jack, that there was a possible incident with Evan and Hederman towards the end of the race there, which is possibly why we lost Evan. I don't know the full details of that yet, but it looks like there may have been a small incident there. So we'll try and bring you an update on that as soon as we can.
That's an interesting one. So they may have made contact again. It's not ideal for them there. But yeah, great job from everybody. And looking forward to the next one then. But it is Niall Quinn, 2 in a row. Keith Dempsey, another second place. It's 2 second places in a row for him. He did absolutely nothing wrong. It seems to be he's taken pole in both races, but he's finished second in both of them too. Niall Quinn, second on the grid, 2 wins. So it seems
outstanding.
To be some superstition.
Well, I think he's again showing his experience. He's a highly experienced driver, highly experienced sim racer. And really knows how to get the best out of his machine, protect his tyres, protect his fuel, keep clean, and push when it matters. And I think that's really what's showing here. And he's getting the results to prove it. So Jack, it's the second race you've joined us now for these GTE series. You've commentated on a number of other series so far. Give us your thoughts on the VRA Championship and the level and the quality of these guys that are racing.
Yeah, it's right up there, I have to say. I've been doing this for 3 years. There's been a very high caliber of driver in this one. The racing's been top notch so far. I'm loving it so far, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. So hopefully I can stick around for a little bit longer. But
It's great to have you, Lex.
yeah, and of course just wait for everybody to come back to pit lane and we can settle down for the evening after that action-packed race. Again, there seems to be, how many retirements do we have? 4 or 5, I think, today. But I think that was mostly down to that lap 1 incident. That lap 1 incident, we just talked about it briefly. Didn't quite see what happened, but it was absolutely huge.
Well, we saw from the for the long camera coming down down the straight, looking down at Radion, we saw Peter Dempsey sort of hovering around third or fourth place on the right hand side of the track. Now, whether he got squeezed or whether he found the grass, I'm not sure, but his car just suddenly launched sideways into the barrier, and I think then spat out across the track and took a few drivers with him. So what we need to try and do is get a look back as to why he got out of shape coming out of there. We already knew that he'd made a little bit of a mistake at the start. He got swamped, and unfortunately, he went from first to maybe third or fourth by that point. So he was already on the back foot, and unfortunately came a cropper.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate for Peter there, but he still managed to finish 11th. So he did register a finish, but it's unfortunate for Peter. The pole position. I did mix it up actually. Keith did not get pole position. It was in fact Peter, but he did it.
That's right.
We saw Keith in the lead so much that it's been the statistics are messing up in my head already.
Well, I
But
think Peter will be keen to make amends for his mistake there, and I'm sure he'll be back and showing strongly in the next race.
yeah, so thank you all so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure once again. Brad, thanks for hopping in for the technical analysis, and we hope to see you all again next week for another round of the VRA GTE series. Where are we heading next week, Niall?
Well, you got me on the spot. I don't know. Jumped out of the same, but it's going to be somewhere cool anyway. The details will be at VRA.ie if you can hear me there. And a big shout out again to Brad and Ian's, who hopefully kept you entertained with all of his technical skills. And of course, to Jack, we will have him back. He's becoming part of this with us. We were hoping as much as we can. With big shout out again to Leo that we get him back as soon as he's feeling up to that. And did I finish last? No,
Yeah, we're all thinking about you, Leo. We haven't forgotten about you.
Catching up with me there. So I'll just grab the headset off, Jack, and we'll wrap it up and we get the stream going.
Well,
So
thanks
again,
everybody for watching.
thank you, everyone. Over to you, Brad. Do you want to sign off?
Please, by all means.
Well,
so, ladies and gents, thanks for joining us at the historic Spa-Francorchamps.